I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Item number 2, discuss possibly approve the minutes of the January 12th, 2021 regular meeting.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item number 3, the mayor's report. Mr. Mayor?
Sorry about that, but I do have several things to communicate. We start with the tax report. And you have these pages in your packet. Sales tax totals reported for February at totaling at the bottom of the page $6,381,891.96. I took a monthly average. Monthly average is $797,736, and multiplied that times 12 to get to annualize, and I came to $9,572,832. If you take the use tax, which was up quite a bit this month, if you annualize that, you get to $888,108. If you take the tobacco tax, and that came in late today, but I was able to go ahead and put the average in. If you annualize that to $94,418, then that gets a total for projected total for the year of $10,555,358, which is on course for a good fiscal year of sales tax and use tax and tobacco tax receipts. Something to note on the sales tax totals, if you look at November, December, January, and February, those reports, those numbers are up. Every one of those numbers are up from the same time a year ago, and I was encouraged by that. Do y'all have any questions for me about the sales tax, use tax, and tobacco tax?
I do not.
No.
Okay. Madam Chairman, if I could move to the review of financial status.
Absolutely.
I prepared a few items, and one of those that is on your desk that I handed to you, there are 6 pages, and the pages are numerated at the top right-hand corner. If you could go to that, and this is a COVID numbers, and so the first page on the left column are wages and salaries that we have paid from COVID funds June through August of 2020, and I have that notated top center of the page. Pages 2 and 3 are wages and salaries from the different departments that we paid from September through December. Page 4 starts the report of the equipment and supplies that we have purchased from COVID funding. So if you see on page 5, that total is $58,270.69. Page 6 is the revenue tracking of how those revenues came in from the state. So in September we received $10,000 in, and in June we received $10,000 in. July we received $3,400. August we received $41,005, and then in September we received that big lump sum. So those 4 numbers add to the total of the $722,935.44, which is what the state allocated to us in CARES Act reimbursement. If you go back to page 1, in the middle of the page, there it says recap and totals. What I've done is I have added the $14,199.45 to the $27,9 $76.88, and gotten a total that we have paid in salaries and wages from the CARES Act funding of $42,176.13. And then below that, I added the supplies and equipment number, $58,270.69, which gives a total that we have paid out to date for salaries and wages and also supplies and equipment of $100,446.82. So the total that we got of $722,935.44, we have spent to date the $100,446.88, leaves a balance of $622,488.56. And we did reserve $202,422. That was 28% of the $722,935.44. Council chose to put that in reserves. So at the end of, up until the end of February. So in March, then, according to the guidelines, which say this, on the reserves, the reserve 28%, total CAR amount for potential future COVID-19 expenses through February 2021. Well, we did this back in September. We didn't know what our situations were going to be up until now. So we agreed we would evaluate the reserve, and that evaluation would be accomplished in March 2021 and report back to City Council no later than April 6, 2021 at City Council meeting. So just to recap, that's the reason we're doing what we're doing. We should ask ourselves a question, and I don't have any recommendation about it tonight, but we should ask ourselves a question. Since we have $622,000 left that has not been spent, and we have, and that includes the $202,000 in reserves, I wonder what we should do with that funding. So we need to be asking ourselves that question going forward. So we'll have we do have some guidelines from the state. I've chosen not to do as other towns have done. Some other towns have chosen to build sidewalks with it. Some other towns have chosen to do all kinds of different things that they have needed to do. And we have latitude to be able to do some of those things. But I've chosen to spend that money based on what it was originally intended for up to this point. So it will be important for us to do a review of that as we go forward. Also, a couple pages that I handed to you. One is the capital outlay page, budget page from our budget. And if I can just review this with you, from the parks, 5415, we removed 163,900. That's what was transferred over to bond fund to build the Whitaker Park restroom. And the building inspector, the $35,000 that's on number 5429. We had put that in there to buy a new pickup, and we've decided not to do that this year. And then on the police, part of that, the $168,750, that's what we were going to be spending for the Motorola system. We decided to do that through a lease purchase, and so that removes that amount from the total. And then on the golf, the 5447, I'll be making a recommendation this evening that we remove $35,700 from that $190,000 on the golf capital outlay to be spent out of the golf course budget. The other item, do you have any questions about capital outlay?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. All right. The other item that I have there in front of you is the golf course budget. And after talking to Dennis Bowman today, It looks like because we are now $109,577 net revenue over expenditures, that it would be possible to purchase one of those aerator machines out of the golf budget rather than trying to do it out of the capital outlay budget. So if you recommended that and then sent it to council and they approved it, that would add $35,700 to the golf course capital outlay account 5411 and would increase the golf budget to $516,202.42. So if y'all recommended that, as will be on the discussion a little later on in the meeting, to send that to council, that's what the effect would be. And do y'all have any other questions, any questions for me at all about the budget? All of our departments are in good shape, and we're pretty well staying on track.
I don't have any other questions. I appreciate you going over all this, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor.
I'm good too.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Item number 4, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding an expenditure not to exceed $3,500 to Farm Plan P&K equipment for the repair of a 1570 John Deere tractor from cemetery repair and maintenance account 0222350091.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Okay. Any discussion? You mind coming and explaining what's going on?
This is one of the main mowers we have,
Okay.
and it's, yeah, their exact words is it was kicking their butt. But it started out with the actuator switch, it's like 900, and then, because the new mowers are just like cars, they're all computerized, and you gotta scan them and stuff. And then that didn't fix it, and it was a cam sensor. They didn't fix it, and so now it's an actual engine harness. And they think this is what the initial problem was, but
That
the
caused
codes are
everything
spitting out the other things first.
else. Okay.
But it's just out of warranty, but still new enough. They said it's worth the repair.
So is this a quote that we've gotten, and they are saying it won't cost above that, sure, but it
It
might
was
cost less?
it was verbal. They told me it was 34.20 something. When I talked to Darla, I couldn't remember the exact amount. So.
Okay. Any other questions?
Gotta have it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item number 5, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding accepting bid from Professional Turf Products LP for a Toro Greens aerator in the amount of $35,698.00 as in the best interest of the city from bids received for the Pryor Creek Golf Course as recommended by the Park Board. Other bids received P&K equipment in the amount of $20,000.
Make the motion?
I'll second.
Okay. And so you want to come and explain what's going on?
Good evening, everyone. What we're trying to do is replace the old, it's a 2004 John Deere Procore 800. We're trying to replace that. We're wanting to accept the Toro bid because the John Deere, the P&K bid does not even meet our specs. That's why it was so low. But our John Deere aerifier, if you have a copy of the little spreadsheet I prepared, you should have that. If not, I'll give you copies. But what I did is we went through that. It's like I said, a 2004 John Deere. We purchased it in 2014 used. So we found a good deal, and from another golf course at that time that went out of business, and so we was able to buy it then. And but as it it gets that old, that's 17 years old, we need to replace it, or we need to spend a lot of money on it. And so I did a parts breakdown of everything that it needs. It's going to cost just in parts alone at least $1,900. if we bought an attachment to go on it to help speed us up, that's another $1,999, because this process is such labor intensive for us. So, you know,
What exactly does this do?
this aerifies the greens. I did have a video to show you. If you want to watch the video, it will give a better explanation. This is it. They're aerifying fairways. This basically aerifies the green. But I can play this video. It's a short video.
Go ahead.
It's really
Yeah.
informative.
Pryor Falls Road Golf Course, number 1. It is Monday morning, August 12th. Pretty early day for aeration. But as the fairway aerators are finishing up number 1 here, I want to take a moment and talk to you a little bit about why we're aerifying. All the traffic that a golf course gets, whether it be golf carts, walkers, mowers, these things contribute to compaction of the soil. As the soil gets compacted, it's much more difficult for water to infiltrate into the soil and get to the root zone. But another great benefit of aeration is just getting oxygen to the roots. As we pull these cores are 3/4 inch cores that we're pulling today in 2 by 2 inch spacing, which is about as tight as we can get it with a tractor. The holes that we make will allow us to incorporate seed as these plugs dry and we drag them back into the fairway. We'll be incorporating new varieties of ryegrass seed that have been shown to be more resilient to pressure from disease and other pests like insects. And so the benefit of this is huge. And we're often asked, why make such a mess when the fairway is in such good shape? But if we don't keep doing this process, we don't keep decompacting and allowing good gas exchange to the root zone, the fairways will not be as healthy in the long run.
Stops it like go to the next. So that's the same process we do on a green. The only thing we do different on a green is we have to clean off all those plugs. So that's where it gets very labor intensive, and that shows a picture of them doing it on the green right there. That's the same piece of equipment that we're proposing to purchase right there. You can see on the green, because the spacing is closer, there's a lot of plugs. So the only thing we have right now is to manually get out there with the scoop shovel and physically get those off. So when you have 20 greens to do, it's very labor intensive. The new one, this doesn't show the attachment. There's actually an attachment that we have proposed with our new equipment that drags those to the end of the green, so you don't have to spend a lot of time cleaning them off the green. They're pretty well off the green. You just have to pick them up around the edges of the green. So that's where the labor savings on the spreadsheet, we'll do this core aerification. This is called core aerification. We do this twice a year, spring and fall. But then in the summer times, we do what we call a venting, which is small, very small tines that doesn't disrupt play. You just run it over there, pokes real tiny holes in it. It still keeps your water and air moving throughout the soil profile. So we typically try to do that once a month. We have old greens, very old greens. They need a lot of this. This is their only way to survive is through aerification. So
how often is this down right now? Is this breakdown a lot? Is this something that you're having to deal with on a regular basis? Like,
yeah,
what's this-
it's a regular basis of breaking down. That's why we either have to spend a lot of money. So because when you go out there and you start this process, when it breaks down, now you may be out for parts, and then you got a mess out there. And so it needs to be a reliable piece of equipment so that it's not breaking down. The one we have right now breaks down constantly. Broke down at least 3 times this last year when we used it.
Okay. And how long is this new one that you're asking for anticipated to last?
They, when I talked to them about that, they said, they have them out there lasting 15 years easy. So this is a one piece time that you buy for, and take good care of it. It could last 20 years. This is the most popular model sold. It's the standard in the golf course industry. So I anticipate parts being out there for a long time, but, should get an easy 15 years out of it.
And this one that you have now, you purchased, did you say 2014?
Yeah, we've gotten 17 out of it, and that's a lot older model, it's, you know.
And you
not
bought
as up to
a
date as
used
this
one,
You bought it used?
Yes, right.
so you don't know what kind of life it had prior to that, huh?
Right, no, exactly.
And you have a new service tech out there too.
Correct. We have a man that takes care of it, and he's doing a phenomenal job. He's on top of all the equipment. We, you know, we keep a log on, well, everything. He's really good. When it comes time to change the oil, because a machine hits that many amount of hours, it gets changed and it gets done right. So that's,
That'll make it last a lot longer.
yes, yeah, it's gonna help us
So-
take care of our equipment and last a lot longer.
Just for clarification, this is an item that has come up through us before and actually been turned down by city council. And it kind of seemed like at that time, it was turned down because maybe we had more life in the current one that we had, and maybe that was not the actual case. How much more life do you think we have out of this one?
You know, when you're dealing with first of all, you look at the motor, it's 17 years old. I don't know how long that's gonna last.
I'm a little surprised it's only gonna be $1,900 to redo that.
Yeah, you can see on this one, the motors aren't real big. You know, they're little 15 horse Kohlers and 18 horse Kohlers. I think ours is a 15. So they're not real big engines, but, you know, they, you know, when it's 17 years old.
I'm just wondering something. We've talked a lot, even tonight, about lease purchase things.
Mhm.
Have we thought about possibly doing this on a lease purchase to, give you guys several years to pay this thing out? Would that help you out any?
We can do a lease purchase.
What does the mayor
It's-
think about that idea?
It's usually a little bit more expensive in the long run, but
Is it?
yeah, anytime you lease a piece of equipment, it's gonna be more expensive in the long run, but.
Mr. Mayor, you had information about what accounts you wanted this actually coming out of, right?
I'm sorry.
You had information about a different account that you wanted this particular item to come out of. than
Yes, this
capital
particular item, I'm proposing that we take this out of the golf budget rather than out of the capital outlay budget, because
Okay.
we have the funding. We've built up some reserves, and we've had a really good year, and that has produced some good,
Okay.
good revenues. And so to purchase this out of the, out of the golf course budget rather than the capital outlay, it would be what I would recommend. Regarding lease purchase, my experience, our experience with golf carts, you end up paying way more over time if you do a lease purchase. Now, that's not the way we bought these golf carts. We bought these golf carts over time. We're paying them off over time. And that's the way we're buying the golf carts. But if we were to do a lease purchase over time, normally this kind of equipment costs you a whole lot more.
Okay.
Upwards to 15 to 18% more.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering, we're doing a lot of lease purchase, like on a Motorola and different things, and we've talked about that earlier. So I was wondering if that was a viable solution to get your stuff quicker and pay it out over time. But
So
that's-
if we have funds that we can spend and purchase, we've done some bidding, and these prices, as I understand, are good reputable prices for the equipment.
Mhm.
And it would be, in my opinion, it'd be in our best interest to purchase the equipment rather than to lease it.
Especially been on it for a long time.
Yeah, and so life expectancy of this greens aerator, you're talking, 15 years or so. But on that fairway aerator, it's gonna be 20 plus years on it.
So
What-
one's for the fairway and one's for the greens then?
Correct. And the other one, the fairway, it's a different animal. It's, when we get into that, I will use it for the greens because our greens are old. I'll use it probably once a year to once every couple of years on the greens. This typical air fire right here, I don't know if you noticed the cores, but they typically pull about a 3-inch core, okay? Now, and then, you know, you clean them all off, you replace it with sand, make it really nice and smooth, and then the golfers can putt on it. But our greens are old, and old greens need what we call a deep tine aerification. And that's the next piece of equipment I need, at least about once a year, and that will go like 12 inches deep into the soil profile to get oxygen way down there. And it also helps the water infiltrate through the green profile. Bent grass greens require a lot of water in the summertime, all right, to cool them, because it's a cool season grass. They don't like 110 degrees out there, so you gotta cool it with water. Well, you gotta move the water through the profile, and the only way you can do that is through an aerification to get down, move that water through the soil profile and then out the drains.
So you can adjust the tines on this machine that'll go that deep?
No, not this one, but the next one we can.
Okay, okay.
Right.
And this one you said is for the greens?
Greens,
Okay.
yes, specifically used
Specifically, okay.
just for greens.
Okay.
Just for
Mhm.
inquisitive,
Mhm.
if you lost a green, what does it cost to replace a green?
You know, when you start, if you're just, that's a good, very good question. If you do one green, it's very expensive, right? Because, you know, you're probably looking at, you could be looking at $50,000 to $70,000 a green, depending on the size. If you do 20 greens, come out and did a whole complete renovation, you know, you're probably
A little
looking at least
cheaper.
$750,000, something like that.
So saving the greens is worth
How long
Yes, it's
would
a
it
huge
take,
investment.
how long would it take to lose a green if you didn't have this system to be able?
Oh, in the summertime, you know, they go really fast. I mean, you can lose, you know, if you're not on a consistent program of verification, you may not even make it through the summer with any of them. That's how important this is. I mean, it is, you know, we have to aerify, or you come August, you probably don't have any grass, you know, or very little.
yeah.
Mr. Mayor, can you give us that account number, just so we're all on the same page that you were looking to pull that from?
Yes, ma'am. I would propose that you amend this item number 5 and add the verbiage, pay this from golf budget 41-415-5411, which is golf capital outlay. So the discussion about the golf course paying for itself, some of the reasons why, some of the things that are going on right now with the golf course, with the equipment that we have reinvested in, that's allowed us to produce more of a quality product, which draws more people to play golf, which means more carts are rented and more rounds are played. So that's what's happening right now. So, yes.
Better product.
Yes, we have, so we have net revenue over expenses that will allow us to purchase this equipment from that golf course account.
So we've got quite a few new pieces of equipment out at the golf course over the last couple of years. So are we seeing the end of the,
Yes.
equipment
Yes.
buying pretty quickly?
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to explain that. These last two pieces on this agenda, I don't foresee any equipment being bought in quite the future, as far as, you know, maintenance equipment goes. This is the last two pieces I need, and that completes our equipment.
Okay.
So that we can just, I mean, we're not trying to maintain a country club here. We're just trying to maintain a nice, you know, quality public golf course.
So we're looking probably pretty good for the next 10 or 15 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes a lot of
We're-
difference.
Yeah, there's, you know, I don't have, knock on wood, I have any plans coming to you next year, say, hey, I need another piece of equipment. I just don't foresee that, you know?
Okay.
That's, I shouldn't be here unless something crazy goes on.
I agree, knock on wood.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or discussion?
Who made that motion?
Shropshire did.
Okay, so you need to amend your motion to add that account.
Oh, yeah, I'll amend my motion to, add that account 414155411 off of the golf budget.
And I will amend my second.
No other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Item number 6, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding accepting bid from P&K Equipment for a John Deere deep tine aerator demonstrator model in the amount of $35,100.00 as in the best interest of the city from bids received for the Pryor Creek Golf Course as recommended by the Park Board. Other bids received, Pro Turf for $27,592.18. KGT, $10,210.00. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Now, this is the one you were talking about that goes the 12 inches, correct?
Correct. This is called a deep tine aerator, and we'll use it primarily on the fairways. Now, our current fairway aerifier is very, very old. It's so old we can't tell how old it is. It was probably purchased somewhere around the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, and there's no way to even get parts. So the only way we can get parts for it is to go have them made. The last time I got parts was about 4 years ago, and the guy said, "You're getting the last parts we've ever even seen around," and we used it 3 years ago, so we haven't been able to aerify fairways in the last 2 years. So they're really getting compacted, and that's something, you know, like I said, you just can't grow grass on compacted fairways. So you got all these carts running up and down them, all the traffic, foot traffic, and just like they showed on the video, if we don't have some quality turf, then we're in trouble. I have another video to show you.
Now, does this one pull the plugs?
It can, but it goes deep. It's not designed, you'll see it's different, it's not designed to go across the greens on a consistent basis.
Well, no, I mean, you're saying this one will load the plugs as it pulls it out of the ground.
Right.
You don't have to go rake it or whatever.
Right.
Will this one do the same thing in the fairways?
It can, it has a ton of flexibility. I can pull plugs with it, or I can use solid tines and not use
Okay.
plugs, and then it's crazy. It is very versatile.
But
So
it'll
it
cut the
gives us a lot of
labor,
options.
cut the labor down.
Oh, yeah, it cuts labor way down.
Okay.
And that's why I want to show you the video, because one of the reasons, you'll have a spreadsheet right here, if everybody has that spreadsheet on the deep tine aerification. And we did a comparison against the Toro, and the one in the bid is the Toro SR70S, would be the second one on the list. But the John Deere is faster, more efficient, built better, and it saves $2,600 a year just in fuel and labor side by side. So over 10 years, that's $26,000. You know, I think just running them side by side, one gets done faster, your labor's done quicker, you use less fuel, so it's crazy. And I have a video to show you that they did a test with 3 different ones, and they're all 3 going down the fairway. If you'd like to see that one real quick.
Absolutely.
John Deere is the one that we're proposing right here. It's made in Germany, very well built.
So it's not leaving plugs behind it right now, is it?
No, they're using solid tines.
Okay.
There's a lot of different tines you can use, and so it's a real versatile piece of equipment. You can use it in the fairway, you cannot leave a mess. You have bad areas, you can pull the cores, replace the holes with better soil, so it helps you fix your bad areas. We'll use it on a green, because you have to drive the tractor across the green, so we'll use it about once a year going across the greens, poking some real deep holes. But you can see the John Deere, he just runs off and leaves the other one. It's crazy. The one on the right is the Toro. So the one in the middle, I'm not sure what brand that one was. but, and this is just one pass. You can imagine doing it for 30 hours in a week, how much further you're ahead of the other guy. So,
So does this actually come with all the different spikes or, core?
I'm sorry?
Does this actually come with all the spikes or the core bits or whatever?
Yes, yes, yeah.
All that
We-
comes
we
with
bid with those. Not all of them, just the ones we thought we really needed.
Okay.
So there is some significant difference between the other bids. Can you explain why there's,
The bottom bid from Kansas Golf and Turf didn't meet the specs. It doesn't even, you know, it's a roll behind one that just rolls, so it's not the one that would benefit us all. We couldn't use it on the greens. It would just be a mess, you
You
know.
just fill water in it or something to give it weight?
Yeah, you put water in it, exactly, to get it heavy. So, it has a little water tank on top of it. So you know, it'd be great for maybe a football field or baseball field or something like that. And some golf courses use them if their soil's real good. Now, the neat thing about this type of machine is, you know, we have limestone out there. So this machine is designed to go down, if it hits limestone, it's got spring loaded and it just deflects, so it doesn't break anything. You know, we have some places on our fairways, right underneath the soil is actually gravel, you know? So we have gravel, we have some good soil, we have some bad soil, we have some clay. So this machine is designed to handle those rough conditions. The little $10,000 one can't do that. If you run over limestone, you're gonna break something.
You're bending
This is
it.
the way it's made. So the biggest difference is, you know, the Pro Turf is designed similarly, but it's so slow. So, you know, like I said, in 2 years, you've paid for the difference in price in just 2 years. And this is a 20-year life cycle machine. I mean, shouldn't be no problem to keep this machine going for 20 years. And so the amount of savings could be huge. And this is all based on doing the fairways twice a year. Now, ideally, if you're gonna, if you'd want to do fairways about every 6 to 7 weeks, which is 4 times a year, ideally. So you could almost double all this if you had the manpower and staff, and, you know, things get better, the golf course gets nicer, and that just makes it all nicer. The other thing I've been working on, I haven't got it accomplished yet, but this would be a great product for our high school, for our baseball fields, for the soccer fields. You know, I could send my man out there and say, hey, let's go do the soccer fields, you know, because they're wore out. They're going to have the same situation. I talked to Zach Cowan at Pryor High School, and the football field, they've done something in the past with somebody else, and they borrowed one, you know, from somewhere else, and I tell you, it's not near the machine this one is, whatever they borrowed. So there's other opportunities to use this. If you had a worn out spot in the park, you get park trails, you know, they wear out and all it just turns to dirt. Going through there, run this machine in 5 minutes, it'll change the whole deal. So there's a lot of uses for it.
so it's versatile.
Okay.
What
That's good.
account, Mr. Mayor, is this one?
This piece of equipment was budgeted in the capital outlay originally, and that would be account 444455447 out of the capital outlay account. I did talk to Mr. Bowman today about taking both of these pieces of equipment out of the golf course budget, and it seemed appropriate to take one of them out of the golf course budget, rather than depleting
Gotta
that
have some
golf
money to
course.
work on.
Right.
Yeah. So this was originally budgeted out of the capital outlay budget, so I would recommend to take this one out of that account.
That should give you a little extra money in the year for your capital outlay for something else.
Any other
She
discussion?
needs a change,
Did I answer all your questions? Good enough to make a decision tonight?
Yeah.
change your motion.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
I will amend my motion
Are we, okay.
to add the account
number.
for capital out, to come out of capital outlay.
And I'll second that.
And then will you have these videos for council to show the rest?
Yes, yes.
Good.
And my son, real quick, he's on the Pryor Youth Baseball Organization, and he says those fields need to be aerified bad, you know?
I'm
So,
sure.
and,
Yeah.
you know, it's, so, that's, you know, we could, if we're able to get this, boom, I can run that thing out in the spring, knock out them baseball fields in no time.
You could probably
It'd
knock
be
that
very beneficial.
football field out in less than half a day, huh?
Oh, yeah, easy. Oh, a couple hours on a football field,
Yeah, I was
couple
gonna say,
hours.
you wouldn't be
Yeah.
like that.
So, it's very beneficial, and there's a lot of uses for it.
And you said the life, 20-year life on this?
Yes,
potentially?
20 years, he said it should last 20 years, no problem.
Okay.
And so, the way we operate out there, we usually get another 5 or 10 years out of a piece of equipment.
Very much so.
Too
We
bad
have
you can't hire it out and do yards, it just probably
Right.
yards probably
Could,
need
you
it.
absolutely could, yeah,
Pay for
it's,
itself.
yeah, could hire it out.
Yeah, I do like the fact that you would be able to use it outside of just
Yeah.
the city.
Yes. Mhm.
I'm sure the little leagues would probably
It
appreciate
would be a
that.
huge benefit to those Little League baseball
fields.
fields. I've been out there, and they need some work.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them I'd be glad to help them if council and the mayor, everybody wants me to go out there. I'll be glad to go out there and do it.
Yeah. So, okay,
Any other discussion?
no,
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Item number 7, petitions from the audience. None. Number 8, unforeseeable business. None that I know of. Item number 9, adjourn. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none,